So a lot of you guys don't get the SEC network. I understand that. But if you don't, here's what happened. Johnny Manziel left Texas A&M, and they got better. The quarterback was better than Johnny Manziel, broke all his records. You think the Cleveland Browns were watching that game last night going, I don't feel so good in my tummy. Oh. Yeah, maybe Kevin Sumlin deserves a little more credit for the great Johnny Manziel. Maybe Johnny Manziel didn't create Kevin Sumlin. Yeah, Kevin Sumlin has now taken Case Keenum, Johnny Manziel, and somebody named Kenny Hill, and in all three cases, broken every current record. What's the common denominator? The coach and the system. By the way, we've seen this before. Urban Meyer, Chip Kelly, June Jones. Just add Kevin Sumlin as number 4. Most of you don't remember a kid named Jeremiah Masoli. He was pre-Johnny Manziel. He played back in 2007, 2008, 5'11 and a half. Contrarian, not typical, ran around, average arm. Chip Kelly made him into a Heisman contender. Got little old Oregon to a Rose Bowl. Never got drafted. He's now running around somewhere up in Ottawa. Medicine Hat, Moose Jaw, up north. Then Darren Thomas came in. He looked amazing. So did Dennis Dixon. All of Chip Kelly's quarterbacks look amazing. How about June Jones? Remember Colt Brennan? Yeah, he now plays for the L.A. Kiss. Timmy Chang, out of football. They both look like Andrew Luck. June Jones makes everybody look great. Chip Kelly makes Nick Foles look like Drew Brees. Urban Meyer, Chris Leak, Tim Tebow. Unbelievable. Between Urban, June, Sumlin, and Chip Kelly. 9, 10, 11 different quarterbacks. All record-breaking. None at the next level have done anything spectacular. Urban Meyer made Alex Smith a number 1 draft pick. I like Alex Smith. I don't like him that much. We all thought Manziel made Sumlin. Kenny Hill, discipline, stays in the pocket, broke 5 of his records last night against an SEC team on the road, 90,000 fans, can't hear yourself think. Just saying. But, Johnny Manziel, and I've never thought he was going to be a star in the NFL. I think he'll make some plays because that's kind of the athlete he is. But he was made for American TV. He made us suckers. Cocky, nickname, SEC, beat Saban, pow. Week later, you didn't know who he was. You didn't know who he was before that Alabama game. A week later, he was the country, because nobody could beat Alabama. Nobody. And we were getting tired of Alabama. A week later, he steals Sports Illustrated, ESPN. You didn't know who he was 6 days earlier. But I've watched Johnny Manziel in the NFL. He's 6 for 17 against vanilla defenses and second and third teamers because he doesn't start. Russell Wilson's had 13 drives. He scored on 11. No interceptions. Consistently throwing from the pocket wins in the NFL. Johnny Manziel last night, once again, running around. And if you're going to run around, ask Cam Newton, who has a broken rib, and Big Ben, who's broken about everything else. He's the Evel Knievel of the NFL. They're 6'6", 255. They can't stay healthy. Good luck with that running around stuff at 204 pounds, 5'11 and a half. I'm not saying Johnny Manziel can't play a little. Tim Tebow won 6 straight games in this league. Michael Vick won games. Run-around guy can win games, but that's not how you win championships. You win championships sitting in a pocket and throwing darts. Vince Young ran around. Michael Vick runs around. Tebow ran around. Well, so did Steve Young, and Steve Young also completed 70% of his passes. In the preseason, Johnny Manziel's completing about 50%. That's against vanilla schemes and second and third team defensive players. Russell Wilson's 11 for 13 against first team NFL defenses. Then he sits down after the Seahawks score. So, I'm watching this thing last night, and we have all, and I'm as guilty as anybody, is that I gave Johnny Manziel more credit and not Kevin Sumlin. And I've done the same with June Jones, and I've done the same with Chip Kelly, and I've done the same with Urban Meyer, all these guys. Dave Duncan, the former St. Louis Cardinals pitching coach, you'd give him a 5-starter, he'd make him a 2-starter. In football, we have a history of seeing coaches, they're like dog whisperers. there's a bunch of these guys out there, and Sumlin's one of them, and Chip's one of them, and Urban's one of them, and June Jones. They take good and make them look spectacular. And they've done it 11 different times. Even Johnny last night admitted some of his flaws.
There's times where I miss a throw, and I'm sure the receiver's looking at me wondering the same thing. What the hell is he doing back there?
He's doing whatever he feels like doing, and that doesn't win big in the NFL. It can win games. Nobody's saying he can't win games, but I sat and watched that game last night. Kenny Hill sat in that pocket, boom, 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 boom. Who's Kenny Hill? He's the same guy Johnny Manziel was an hour before he beat Alabama. You didn't know who he was. Heard brought to you by Regis, fully furnished office. Plug in, get to work, 1-800-OFFICES. So the NFL came out yesterday, and wow. Roger Goodell said, yeah, we got it wrong with Ray Rice. We screwed up. I talked to people. I hurt people. We're changing our rules with domestic violence. Now, 6-game suspension minimum for first offense, lifetime ban, second offense. That's the way it should be. But people and companies make mistakes. Policies are constantly updated. At ESPN, we had a policy change in radio last week. We have about 3 policy changes a year. ESPN sometimes, because they're a public company, you know about their changes. They get talked about. At your insurance company, they don't. At your engineering firm, they don't. Much like ESPN, the NFL is a public company. Their policy changes are public. Their mistakes are public. And the reasons policies change at all companies. Society changes, you got to evolve. Maybe there's a new frontier you've never encountered. Maybe in the NFL's case, there's just a public outcry. And they screwed up. They whiffed. Absolutely. Why? Echo chamber. Too many guys, no women in a room making a decision. It's not just diversity, it's diversity of thought. And the NFL needs more diversity of thought. I don't think framing the NFL historically as out of touch is fair. I would say of all the professional sports in my life, nobody has evolved more radically and quickly than the NFL. I mean, baseball, the Little League World Series had replay before Major League Baseball could figure it out. I don't think there's ever been a league in my life that changes more often or more radically than the NFL. In the middle of seasons, can't hit there, can't do that. I think framing them as, as historically vulgar, out of touch, I just think it's unfair. And I think we also forget something. They're a big, gigantic public company. Your company makes policy changes. Your company whiffs too. But they don't talk about that. The media doesn't cover that. I'm not letting the NFL off the hook. They completely whiffed on Ray Rice. I said it 1,000 times. But like this company, Nike, the NBA, the NFL, they're public. They're covered daily, annually. They made a mistake. They appropriately changed policy. And I'm not the least bit surprised because the NFL's history has always been rules, grades, policies, change, adapt. Of all their faults, and they've got them, they've never been a league afraid to go, woo, we got to change that fast.
Saturday night, the NASCAR season comes down to Richmond. After 6 grueling months of racing, the playoffs are just a week away. Newman, Biffle, Boyer, and Kyle Larson have one more shot to lock up a spot in the all-new Chase. 43 drivers battle, 16 advance, 1 race to go. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Richmond, Saturday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on ABC, presented by AutoZone.